One of the most controversial topics today is the question of identity. Political, ethnic, racial, social, sexual, and gender identity are just some of the big questions that people wrestle with today. And if you don't wrestle with those questions, you've probably wrestled with someone else over them. How's that going for you? Could you just imagine for a moment, instead of wrestling someone over a question, that you could wrestle with the topic together rather than against someone? In this video series, I want to invite you to join with me as we wrestle with the question of identity. And as in any competition, the most important question before you start grappling is this: who is your opponent and how do you win? If you've wrestled with someone before, or someone might perceive you as an opponent, then the first thing you need to do is to signal that you're on the same team and interested in working together. And that means more than words. It includes body language. So for instance, if someone says to you, marginalized community, or gaslighting, or gender identity, and if your temptation is to roll your eyes or scoff, then maybe the first step is to work on your body language and what you're communicating. The second step is this: you want to identify the correct opponent. You're not wrestling with a person, you're wrestling with the question of identity. So here's how to get this match started. You can ask someone this question: what does identity mean to you? And the prerequisite for asking this question is openness and curiosity. You need to be genuinely interested in the person's response, more interested even than talking about your answer. So let me give you an example. In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve violate God's command and eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which God forbade them to eat from. It seems clear that at the moment of their disobedience, Adam and Eve and God are opponents of each other. But that's not actually how God treats them. As God walks through the garden, he notices that Adam and Eve are not present because they're hiding. And I remember as a kid throwing a spoon at a mirror and crashing it into pieces, and shame and guilt were written all over my face. And so God could have asked in that moment, "What did you just do?" Or, "What were you thinking?" I may have said some of these things to my own kids. Instead, this is the way God responds. In Genesis 3:9, it says, "But the Lord called to the man and said to him, 'Where are you?'" They are not the enemy. What God wanted to know was just where they are. So in your question of asking about identity, none of us are anywhere near God's status, so we can approach this question with humility and curiosity and ask another person, where are you with this question of identity? And you can improve this question with a preface like, as a Christian, the Bible gives some answers about the question of identity, but I find that I often wrestle with living it out. How do you wrestle with identity? The point is, we're all wrestling with this question. And to come to another person and invite them to join you in wrestling is what it means to live faith first.